So let's talk about the action sequences. Like, there's no way we can talk about this movie and not talk about how crazy all the action set pieces were.
Garbage. No, they're not garbage.
And there's a bunch.
Do tell, Anthony. No,
Not garbage.
We could go through some of our favorites if you want, because there's a bunch.
Oh, yeah.
But, X,
man. I mean, I don't want to steal what I thought was my favorite.
Steal away.
I'm stealing it. The whole final sequence of the train was out of hand. Like, the fact that they had to build their own train and actually do practical stunts on the top of this train, and the fact that, like, on a moving train. The greatest thing about this thing too is that it also helps, tie in a lot of the different plot points together. Like, you see that Kittredge is the one trying to buy the keys off of the White Widow, and this is that point where, Ethan and Grace have to go in and do the deception of the face mask to get that back, bring it back forward, and then you find out that Detlinger's in there too, trying to push the whole deal, and then create try to make sure that he has his his ace in the hole of, like, oh, I know where the Sevastopol is, and so, like, try to propose an alliance with the entity, like, oh, this is getting intriguing. And then that's also where you have the sort of Gabriel double cross on Paris, because he realizes, like, oh, the entity realized that, oh, wait, Ethan, kept you alive, so obviously you're going to betray me. But then it's like a sort of self-fulfilling prophecy, and then all these things converge where, there's like fight sequences on the train. Ethan jumps from the mountain and, like, crashes into a moving train. And
when he crashed in through the window and knocked out that guy,
like, whoa, like,
ridiculous.
Yeah, that was that one guy. I was just like, okay, now kill her. I was just like, in my mind, I'm like, why didn't you just, if the key was there, why didn't you shoot her from far away? But I don't know. Like, that guy was like, I don't want to kill her because she's too hot. That's probably the reason. And I that's his name was Zola, so I was like, all right, Zola, I understand that. That's understandable. But then his homeboy got wrecked. So, but that even the thrilling point where, like, Grace as the White Widow, is she going to be outed by Kittredge? And there's this whole cat and mouse of, is she going to take the easy way out by clearing her name, or is she actually going to kind of do the right thing and realize, like, hey, that's not a real solution in the end? That was very thrilling too. And then and what was also crazy too is, like, how Gabriel was setting everything up, where he went through, broke the lock to the engine car, to the main engine of the train, and then
the brakes.
Broke the brakes, killed the engineers. And what was really messed up too is that, like, he hung one of them with the whistle, and every time you hear the whistle, you knew in the back of your mind, oh man, like, that's just that dead body just hanging back and forth, and it created tension with the entire sequence throughout all of that stuff. Like, you would just keep hearing the friggin' whistle, even during the fight sequence up top between Gabriel and Ethan. Like, you still hear that. You're like, oh my god! Like, it's just like that added bit of tension that just, like, gets under your skin, and you just need it to resolve. So it was that. There's maybe a couple other things I'm missing. Like, obviously, after the train crashes and they do the whole Uncharted 2 thing, and it's just, it kept escalating and escalating. They're going through the service car, and, like, oh no, now they're stuck on oil, and I'm just like, oh.
Seeing the like swishing, probably very hot oil, like, going around while they were walking, I was like, I hope that's not real. I hope it's like CGI oil, like, because to me that's the ultimate stunt. Like,
and even still,
the guys could have just gotten burnt.
They got badass, like, boots, but, like, they're still slipping. You're like, dude, get out of here! What's going on? Like I completely forgot that there's a part 2 to this. So I was just in the moment, like, man, this is great, and that helps when it's practical stunts. Like, you
can see the quality difference.
Yeah, like, it's totally there. Like, it's believable because it's real at that point. And props to everybody involved. Props to Haley Atwell that's doing all this stuff with Tom Cruise, and Tom Cruise being the animal that he is. Like, he's just game for whatever. It's out of hand.
Real quick, did you notice with the whole Grace playing as the White Widow, like, with the mask, the eye colors?
Yeah.
Like, it kept her eye color instead of Vanessa Kirby's.
Yeah, it changed over because they didn't have they have contacts. Sometimes they do that, but they still have the voice changer piece on her throat, which is dope, and they show that to take it off too. Zach, as our resident racer, what did you think of the Rome chase sequence in like 3 different vehicles?
I thought a lot of parts were like pretty humorous, like, you know, when they get into the Fiat for the second part of that chase. But it reminded me a lot of Fast and Furious because the movie just came out a couple months ago, and they had a similar.
Like 1 month ago, dude.
Was it already
down the stairs?
Yeah, like
one
down
was
the stairs.
clearly better than the other.
One is definitely
because one had real cars.
Guys, which one's better? For the record, which one did a Rome chase sequence better than the other?
Definitely this one.
Definitely
it's
Mission
a no-brainer.
Impossible.
It probably cost them more for the CGI than to actually just get a car and like put it down though.
Well, I mean, that has to be a set that they made.
Yeah, that's a set they made.
You can't do that.
No. Of course, but
on
I'm
the
saying
Spanish
like,
steps.
Not in a city that's thousands of years.
It's not even that. Like, they won't give you clearance to damage historical monuments.
The part where Paris is in that Humvee and just breaks through everything. Yeah, that's a set they broke. They probably recreated the Spanish steps for the Fiat to go down.
Yeah.
Dude, the fact
but it was real though. Like
it
wasn't
you
some
don't
weird
see like that
jackety
weird
movement.
PS2 graphics.
like. So at first it's like they're driving in the BMW. Was it an i4? I think it was. But they're driving in the BMW, handcuffed on the wrong arm with no doors, and
they actually drove that handcuffed.
Yes, they did.
Right before the movie, we get like a behind the scenes on the whole car chase, which was kind of like
spoilerish.
Yeah,
and there's still like sleight of hands with the handcuffs going on too, like cool. Which is still like nuts. Like that shows like the adeptness of both characters and.
But I like the little Fiat.
Yeah, the little Fiat. Okay, there was one point at first I thought like, man, okay, this is too much, leaning too much into humor. Yeah. But then you just saw like, oh, this is because of how ridiculous this is. Like the whole situation is ridiculous, and like it's.
But it was a souped up Fiat though. The thing is, it was needed because like it was
IMF
able to go around all.
Yeah, IMF knew like we need to tie through all that. Oh, but when it flipped over, dude, I freaked out. I was like, oh my god, they're dead. Like it's
and they flipped over and swapped places.
They're both like, wait, what? They're like, how do we do this? That was great. Like that was a great choice of humor. Some would argue that the whole point when Grace is trying to drive it, she's just
at 360
understanding, or like, and even when Ethan's like, I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. Driving. Yeah, he's just like, I can't handle. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, because the car that they kind of teased was like a Ferrari. Was a Ferrari like F12 or something? I don't remember what it was. And then they go to try to get in, but then the Fiat pops out because he's using it remotely.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, what?"
Because I guess he's used to like more modern cars having like the buttons there and stuff. But then
then the Fiat basically is just an electric motor going like go fast and go vroom vroom.
I mean, it was quick.
Yeah,
it was a speedy little thing.
But the whole chase sequence was done really well. Like I think it was. And like the way the camera work and the camera rigs were put on the cars themselves while they were driving realistically, like that was legit. Like that made it seem really authentic and thrilling too. You also have the CIA agents chasing them. You have Paris as the main person chasing them too, and
the police.
The police as its own section, and even the whole sequence leading up to it in like that the police area and just all the mind games and double crossing going on was really fun to see.
And then it kind of ends where they get cornered, and then Ethan backs up, and then he goes down like this. I don't know if it's like a tunnel or whatever it is, and they end up in the subway.
Yeah.
And then Grace gets herself out of the handcuff with a paperclip.
Yeah, I didn't like
and
that.
And then with sleight of hand,
because she's too good.
Well, no, I didn't like that because you could have just done that earlier.
Yeah, no, she was in a moving car. There's no way she's going to leave by herself. And with someone chasing her, like, no, she knew better than that. And then they're in a situation where they got away from everybody. She's like, oh, this is the perfect opportunity.
She actually uncuffed herself earlier, and they show it for like a split second because you see both her hands were free, and she was like holding on to him. And then that's when she
hooked it
to the steering wheel. Yeah, I saw it. I was like, wait, she has both her hands now? Yeah. It was like a split second that they showed her.
Yeah. But then in the subway tunnel, when she cuffs him to the steering wheel. Then he's trying to get out because there's a train coming.
Sleight of hand.
And then
I didn't like that either. She straight up was like, what if he didn't get out? Like, you just killed this man. I was like, geez. It's kind of weird.
Because the next time she sees him is at the party.
Yeah.
I think she's still in a situation where she can't trust him. She can't trust anybody.
I think at that point, you could have trusted him. Like, I understood all the other moments before that, but then, like, you guys just went through this, like whole chase together. Like, I don't know why she's kind of, like, screwed him over there.
No, yeah, I just didn't trust nobody.
Well, she was kind of like a free agent, I guess.
Yeah, she was hired to do the job, and then she was supposed to go to, Venice to drop it off and get her paycheck and get on out of here. And then craziness ensues. Danny, any, we stole some of the big moments of the movie, but any other sequences that you liked?
I like that, what was it, Venice chase sequence where they're trying to get to Grace.
Yes.
And the Rebecca Ferguson fight.
Yeah.
That part was cool.
A lot of the fight sequences, I was going to mention that, like, how did you guys feel about, like, being able to follow the fight sequences, especially since they're trying to do these more practically? Like, there's not a lot of crazy flashy fighting, so it was very, like, practical. It seems realistic. There wasn't, like, shaky cam or anything going on.
Yeah, club or wherever they were.
That doesn't make sense, or that's not real, or the physics. Nothing felt off about it. Like, they looked really nice.
Like in the club or wherever they were at, when they're all talking for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then they start to fight.
All
those shots were pretty cool.
Yeah, all the moves seem pretty, like, kind of straightforward, so you don't have to hide a lot of crazy stuff with, like, wonky camera work. Anthony is normally the best eye on that, so what did you think about that?
So, I mean, you guys have said all the, like, big set pieces already, so I mean, I liked all of them.
We didn't mention the airport or the desert.
Yeah, the desert part was cool, but it was pretty quick and short. It was cool. I liked him straight up laying down with the horse, like,
that was cool.
Hiding from the like assassins that were going to get Ilsa.
Yeah.
So yeah, that scene was cool, but yeah, it was quick. He went in there while the sandstorm was coming, so it's like I feel like part of me felt like this movie was a little bit of like a kind of like a greatest hits of the other movies. I don't know if you felt that.
Even if it's just a setup.
No, like a small greatest hits.
Because it's like part one, so you're like, damn, what's going to happen in part two?
Yeah.
That's what has me like crazy
There's
excited.
already been a train sequence in the first movie. There was a sandstorm sequence in 4.
Well, the train sequence kind of reminded me of the first movie.
Yeah. So I feel like this movie has like small little nods to all the other movies. But yeah, so what I liked, the Ilsa fight versus Gabriel was kind of cool, but it also looked a little janky at times. I don't know why, but so what I will say is like I enjoyed all the action scenes, but part of me felt that those moments, specifically like the hand-to-hand combat, was much better in Fallout. I think Fallout had really good hand-to-hand.
The bathroom sequence.
We got Henry Cavill reloading,
and that whole bathroom fight scene was awesome.
Well, do you remember the story? How long it took to film?
Yeah, and that guy whooped both of them. Like,
yeah,
it was crazy. But so like, and like we were mentioning like Ghost Protocol before. Like I feel like between Ghost Protocol and Fallout, Ghost Pros.
Yeah.
Like I feel like those two probably have like maybe like the most dynamic action choreography, like but the like ideas and scenes in this one were like really cool and really well done.
Yeah.
I just feel like Fallout was a little bit better in that regard. Like the whole helicopter bits in Fallout,
that was all realistic, and that freaked me out. I was like, dude, this Tom Cruise is hanging on a net, and just there. But again, like, but then there's also the Tom Cruise base jumped off a cliff. And they basically broke like 3 motorcycles.
And then he did the one with Henry Cavill off the plane in the other movie. So it's like they keep trying to one up themselves. It's very difficult. And
I just can't imagine what stunt he's doing in part 2.
That's what I'm saying. Ever since 4, they just like try to keep one upping themselves.
And again, Tom Cruise is like, even when he's like doing all of the press for this movie and like little things like, I'm on a plane. Yeah. There's another sequence.
There's no plane in this movie.
No, so like that's the part 2. Like, we're filming a scene for Dead Reckoning 2. He's just like, I'm just gonna jump. I was like, okay. Like, I want to know like how long it took him to get like skydive certified, because like I've looked it up. Like you have to go through like a certain amount of hours or like at least 10 different jump. Like
he's
5 or 6. There's like 5 or 6 assisted jumps, and then you have like other jumps that are just by yourself. So it's like I've always wanted to do it, but you have to go like there's a lot of prep for it, and you need to shell out like $2,000.
I'm surprised he hasn't done like a squirrel suit scene yet.
You know what?
I'm surprised.
He's gone close. They did say in this movie that like, oh, you have a wingsuit in here too. So I was like, is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it?
Probably for the next one.
But and even then, like him when he's like on the parachute, like getting away from the train, he's doing like aerial spin. So I don't know if that's him or not, but like
it is.
I was just like,
I've seen clips online of making all of those parts.
Those spins when I went skydiving, and the tandem person that went with me, like they did those spins, and that's not easy, and that actually pulls some G's.
They actually didn't show a lot of it because I saw a featurette online, and it seemed like he did a lot more of those scenes of him just like
and he's
gliding around.
He's just there, like he's probably like off, like because his face is not in frame or anything like that. But he's just like wee, like having too much fun. Like
I mean, that's pretty easy because it's just a matter of like
it's not.
It's not. No, it's not just how you pull because you have to also take into account the wind. You have to take account your angle of basically like approach. And you have to catch that stuff right. Like there's a lot more involved in terms of like
the same thing with the motorcycle stunt. Like it may seem simple. It's like, oh, he's just driving off a cliff. It's like, but he's not because he has to like also be able to land properly and not fly into the other mountains that are by him.
Yeah, he's like, remember he said, and he even said in the movies, like I have to get away from these mountains.
I have to go far enough.
I had to jump away far enough and then pull the parachute, which is why he smashed into the side of the Orient Express. That was out of hand. But
I did like the like very close quarters of that alleyway scene.
That part was cool.
Because it probably was
when he's locked in.
It probably was held to shoot. I'm sure the cameraman was like right next to them trying to film.
Rough.
Because there were some scenes where like they were right behind like Palm Clemente's while she's punching him, and it's like how is they're really close.
How is that camera? Yeah, whoever's working the camera, like how are you not like getting hit by this stuff? Especially with like that lead pipe and other stuff like going on. Like that's nuts.
Yeah. So that was cool.
That's dope. Yeah, it has me really excited for part 2.